pay cash for it and build a building for cash without benefit of going to an attorney, which we have seen here, but that doesn't make it legal. So the covenants, the answer is you put the covenant on it, and that's as much as you can do.
It'd be on the property card too.
Yeah, it would be on the property card.
No,
So when we look it up on,
but yeah, there's still a chance.
Usually they're right in the deed.
If like multiple parties don't do their homework, it could still.
Well, yeah, the courtesy defense, right? Like they came to the planning board, we don't generally pull a deed, right?
right, well, that's what I'm trying to figure out, where would we be able to catch this?
Well,
So it doesn't get,
So your alternatives
someone
are
says gotcha type thing.
you put the covenants on, and then maybe in the future time somebody screws up, or you sell them without covenants. So you have a win-lose opportunity, and the wins on covenants are far greater than.
Yeah, you'd have to have multiple parties screw up.
You have to have lots of people who are in the business of dealing with real estate transactions to screw up.
On the town.
There are covenants that are invalidated by law. So the Fair Housing Act of 1968 invalidated the covenants in, if you're familiar with the neighborhood, Edgewood in Keene, the lots there are on their own little covenant. They have a covenant in there that you can't sell a property to Chinese, Jews, Negroes, or Catholics.
Wow.
And so that.
Yeah, that's not gonna hold up.
No, those are invalidated by law.
Yes.
Surprise.
But that was, and so until there was an action taken in law that invalidates covenants, you can't do that.
Troy's not that bad. At least we didn't have that.
Huh?
At least we didn't have that. That's good.
In Troy?
Yeah.
If you eliminated the Catholics, you'd eliminated half the population.
There you go.
So I'm in favor with the covenant, I mean, as long as we can somehow manage to track it and catch it and put it on the card. And
Well, I think that's all we can
single
do.
family houses up there, I mean, I don't see anybody wanting to put any businesses up there, but I mean, we've seen stranger things.
Well, that would be a zoning issue.
There's other lots that people have been asking about. So I was gonna have it on tonight's agenda, but I realized it was getting long.
Well, if we have other lots, we can put them in the same auction, but I think if we could authorize Jeremy to contact St. Jean's and see what their time frame is.
Yeah, there's one. I don't remember the other one. There's like two major players. Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, you could call.
But I was gonna compile a list and bring it to the meeting of
Okay.
mostly tax deed properties because I can't imagine there's too many other ones. But we
We
go
got-
through all of them, kind of decide what we want to do.
I just found out today, we got 5 properties that are unknown owners.
Is cheated to the town, or?
No, there's no owner to it, and there's no back taxes because there's no one we can tax or send a bill to.
So it's coming back.
I am waiting to find out how Steve's handling that, and Steve Boscomino.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think in the case of these lots, why don't we schedule the event based on, we know we have these 5 or 6 lots, whatever is left up there.
so, all right.
We can schedule it based on that, and then if we get other properties that we can add to it, great.
Well, I think next meeting I can give you guys a list and decide which one. We know we have at least one on the one because somebody keeps asking and I tell them the same answer.
So,
Which one is that?
Monadnock. They made an offer and that's when we first said we're gonna go through all of them.
On Monadnock Street?
Yeah. Somebody's house and then there's a sliver of land that for some reason we got a tax deed because of
Oh,
this
this is.
failed subdivision years ago.
yes.
Oh.
And then he owns behind it. And I said, essentially you can do whatever you want with it now because nobody's using
Oh,
it.
it is landlocked. I know what that, I remember looking at that on the tax map.
I told him to hold on and we'll have an answer eventually, but he likes to come in every few weeks and ask again. And I said,
Yeah,
"That's
I don't think that's something that you would be auctioning off. I think that's somebody's got a title problem. I think you need, if you're gonna put things in an auction, it should be something that someone could reasonably buy and use.
want to have."
Yeah,
Yeah, because I don't think anybody else is going to be interested in that.
like, the 20 by 20 square that's in the middle of Kyle Smith's father's front yard. You're not gonna put that in the auction.
Right.
I mean, what are you gonna do, go buy it and then sell it back to them? You know. So, these should be real properties that have maybe some kind of economic value to somebody. I think the auctioneer would tell you that too.
Well, I know as of Monday, we have 59 pending liens.
How do you know that, Curtis?
Well, and I think we should probably think about, in terms of rather than, when we take these things by tax deed, rather than taking them into like inventory, we should just auction them off.
Yeah, get them back on the tax roll.
Well, we get paid, and then somebody else can
Once a year.
buy the tax lien, and it's not our problem.
Alright, you making a motion for,
I'm making a motion that we authorize or instruct Jeremy to contact, and come back to us with a proposal for an auctioneer to auction off the lots on Forest Road and any other lots we might find that are appropriate in the town, that are owned by the town.
I'll second to move forward. Alright, discussion, Herb had his hand up.
Yeah, I just had a quick point, Dick. I know you said something about maybe doing them all separate. One of the issues, I owned some of those years and years ago, but one of the issues was there's no road there. So no one property has enough value to put the road in.
That's
So you end up with this weird,
then,
and we'll cycle through the same thing again.
well, but they're not they're off the deck.
They got off the deck last time, and that's why they came back to the town, because there was no, if you own a property, you can't put it in current use, you can't do anything. And if there's not enough value in one or two properties to put the road in,
Well, but then
there it
let's,
sits.
I'm conscious of that, I'm very
Okay.
conscious of that. So, are there 6 lots there or 5
Five.
lots?
I
Five.
think there's 5 in the town.
3 and 2. There were 3 that you had an interest in, and then there's 2 others that came to us a different way.
Yeah.
So,
Because they were all auctioned off once before.
Can you sell them as a group?
well, we were originally looking at doing that, selling it as a package. But if you, and then one person has 5 lots, and he can conceivably it could be worth it to them to go in and develop the road. But if you, and you could, one person could still have 5 lots, or 2 lots, or 3 lots, if they bid on them successfully. So if you put them out there independently, you might get more money. The reality of the road is what they are. And I think at this point, our goal is to maximize the cash to the town and minimize the exposure to the town. We should not be in the business of owning building lots.
No, and that would possibly do it, and the only issue is if they don't.
If nobody buys it,
No, if you end up with multiple owners again, literally you will end up back in the same spot.
what, taking it back for taxes or
Yeah.
something?
Or they'll just get turned back over, because
Well-
they're taxed as building lots. They're not taxed as raw land, somewhere else, they're actually taxed as building lots, so they'll be, whatever that value is as a building lot.
Well, could there be a covenant on a shared private road? So
You
all,
could-
or
Well,
Yeah, but
you
it's
can't
not-
impose it on the people who are already there.
Yeah, it's not built, the problem is it's not built, so the cost to build a road, like if you paid $20,000 for a building lot, you're
Well,
not
I
gonna
think so.
upgrade the road.
So here's what I agree with everything you've said, but I think I see a different outcome. So I look at the Green Farm on South Street,
Mhm.
which they outbid Richard by $20,000, was listed for 305, he bid 365, and the guy paid 385 for it. Because what he saw there was 8 lots and a house he could get rid of. Through the planning process, he's down to 5 lots and a house he can get rid of. So it was worth it for him to go, and it's crappy land, it's all wet. That's a whole other story, but so he wound up with a 5-lot subdivision, and his cost on this thing was $80,000 a lot. So if we're in a $50,000 to $100,000, and if you look up on Richmond Road, which is undeniably a better lot, Cormier just sold the lot up on there for $125,
yeah, I think it was around there.
and it's still only a single building lot. So if we're in that market, maybe it's worth somebody to come in and pay $40,000 a piece for each of those lots. Or maybe we're back to the scenario where the guy who owns the abutting land just wants to buy it and throw it in and put it in current use and never hear from it again. Either one works for us.
Yep. no, it's possible. I just wanted to make the point because it's, I mean, there's certainly some hypotheticals, but this will be the third time it's been back to the town, so
So,
Charm.
just making that point. And that's been the reason.
yeah, and
So-
it comes, well, wouldn't you think they would know the cost of building the road before they buy the land? I mean,
Well, if you, let's say you bid on all 5 lots, wanna buy all 5 lots, and
Yeah.
somebody outbids you on the one that they want,
yeah,
and now you have 4, maybe somebody else, or 2, and you end up with 3,
don't bid.
or,
I mean, then, you know,
yeah. I'm just telling you what has happened, not,
don't know,
I'm just telling you what
but
actually has happened
I
before.
would think you could make it work with 3 lots, I don't think you could make it work with less than that.
Probably not,
Yeah,
probably not,
or you'd have to really want it,
yes.
so.
Us and trying to get everybody to work together to pitch in and do, yeah,
I'm not-
exactly.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
is
If
exactly.
you have if you have the back 3 lots, you're the guy up front is like, this is awesome.
I did a lot of trying to convince,
Yeah.
but,
I like
Yeah.
my dirt roads just fine.
so, anyway, just the point I wanted to make, but
Well,
it's not my fault.
Then they're gonna bring negligible cash and, oh well. I mean, as you know, the town doesn't benefit particularly from the sale of 3 of those lots anyway. And we'll get our money and interest back, and then the rest of it goes to the former owner.
Mhm.
And 2 of them, we get all the money, so.
So, alright, there's a motion, there's a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No nays, no abstentions. State of New Hampshire, 4D, State of New Hampshire, right away, Route 124, Perkins Pond.
So this is a request from the state to purchase an easement for $500 down on that property. It's the minimum they're allowed to offer by the rules, but they estimated the impact's really $100, so it's over that.
They're being generous.
Yeah, really generous. We're gonna pay off a lot of debt with that.
What do they wanna do with this?
This is the
It's an
extension.
easement, right?
No, this is where they wanna extend the road out. They wanna make it wider.
Temporary construction easement.
Oh, temporary? I move that we approve the slope easement request from the town of Troy, from the state of New Hampshire, for $500.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No abstentions, no nays? It's 14.
Extra $500 in the budget.
Let's start someplace.
Put it in a piggy bank.
Municipal work zone agreement for the Troy Drive Route 124. 4E.
I move that we approve the municipal work zone agreement, on 124 as submitted.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? None, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No nays, no abstentions.
It's only they're putting a bigger culvert.
Right.
I know, it's all that traffic's gonna come through town.
Alright, 4F, HB 456, SP 297, New Hampshire Health Trust. This is what you brought up last meeting about Health Trust possibly going,
Yeah, supposedly if it's on, if it's not amended, if it's passed as is, which I'd be surprised.
Just a little bit of light reading.
Yeah. The whole country didn't enjoy it.
So what did you want us to understand from this?
That if it passes the way it is, we're gonna have to look for new insurance.
Yeah, we're gonna look at
Oh,
it.
that conversation, okay.
Yeah, this is well, you've probably already read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much.
It's homework for the other two.
I assume if they did go belly up, they'd probably have to distribute all their money in their coffers and probably get a big check, but
They would.
long term, that's not gonna help us.
Right. Well, is this a good time to have a discussion about It's a shame Ben's not here. You think he's coming back in?
I think he's right up there.
I mean, I've talked to him one-on-one and he thinks it's the right approach. Not really discussed it in
Well-
the meeting before, but.
Dave, did you go see if Ben wants to come back in? Because this is gonna be a budget committee discussion too.
Thought he was going.
Might as well have it now.
Trying to hear where.
I hear him.
Yeah, I can hear
I thought he was
him,
up
but
front,
yeah,
not back.
yeah, I can't tell which place they're coming from.
And you thought you can get away?
Yes, sir.
Since you're here,
Okay.
this is a,
I'm leaving trash everywhere.
well, this is a budget committee really gonna come up next year.
Okay.
So we're facing some potential changes for legislation with Health Trust.
Yep.
And the other issue is we have, at this time, a small number of employees, but an increasingly smaller number of employees who might want health insurance as it's currently structured.
Mm-hmm.
Or they haven't taken our health insurance, or they're taking the buyout. So this would be a time when, if we were going to change our policy on health insurance to employees, we might want to come up with a proposal to run by them a year or two in advance. So when I look at my sister, who works for CNS, it costs her $200 a month. When I look at her husband, who works in Napa and Coaster, it costs him $42 a month. Why they don't have it together, I couldn't tell you, but they don't. And I am of the opinion that while I love all of our town employees, that our compensation for health insurance exceeds what the market requires significantly. So I would think if we could come up with a plan where they could have an HSA, because a lot of our employees are younger, and it's well to their advantage to have might be well to their advantage to have an HSA, and get a lesser contribution to their health insurance.
Yep.
And I know, you're the numbers guy, you're gonna, I think you're still on the budget committee, I don't know if you really.
Yep.
So, do you have any thoughts on that you'd like to have us consider?
Well, I'm happy to hear it, that you guys are looking at it, because I've been talking about it for a number of years now. And this was the creative healthcare programs that I was talking about.
Yep.
I honestly believe that there's a real potential for us as a town to offer the same level of coverage that we offer now, at the same level of input from the employees. So the impact to them, I envision being quite low. And the reason for that is because we have a group of employees that are not high users
Right.
of the healthcare system.
Right.
So, and when you're not a heavy user of the healthcare system, the HSA works great.
Right.
Because there's years where they don't use it.
Right.
So you come into the next year and your HSA is already full.
Right.
So the money that we've invested into your HSA as an employee for this town, we only had to do it once. Well, what we're doing now, we have to do it every single year, whether you use it or not.
Right.
I support it 1,000%, and I truly believe that you could probably find a high deductible plan that supports an HSA, that will still come out at the dollar amount investment from the employee as it does now, with a very similar coverage. I bet you anything you can, and save the town tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Easily. Because what are we paying now for a family 36? That's our side of it.
Yeah.
Then they have to pay 50.
I think that's total.
Is that
Well,
total?
we pay 85% of it.
We pay 85% of 36, whatever that
Yeah.
is. So,
But I went to
And that
the,
money's gone
Must be 20.
if they don't have, they don't get sick.
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you don't. Yeah, it's like any other insurance. You don't get credit for
Right.
for
when
being.
I went to the annual Health Trust meeting, which, thanks TJ. He's like, you should go. And, I mean, a lot of it was dry, but I mean, it was interesting. It's all numbers, but hearing from the larger towns that like have unions and stuff, they're looking for other ways to, and they're already working on changing their plans where it's not, like we have, because they can't afford it, because their hands are tied with the unions and stuff. But they're looking towards HSAs and higher deductibles or a bigger, larger portion of the employee paying.
Just the math I would do right off the bat is what is our grand total, right? What is our grand total cost for healthcare that we spend across the entire town? Put that number together, and I guarantee you it's going to shock the hell out of you.
Yeah.
You know, so look at that number and then start from self-insured, which you're not even legally allowed to do, but start from self-insured all the way up to some of these really wild programs and high deductibles, and find something in the middle that's going to work. And I guarantee you the savings is pretty substantial.
You know, if we could leave the employees basically where they are, you know, that would be the optimal thing.
Easy to implement, right? Because that's your biggest hurdle, really, is the impact of the employees. So if you can not impact the employees and save tens of thousands of dollars, and which I do truly, only because we have that type of employee. We don't have an aging stock of employees that are needing to go in constantly for this or that or the other.
Maybe one.
Rick is self-insured with this guy.
No, it's kind of like what my company did. This year we switched insurances because it was cheaper for the company itself. Our portion went down, I think only like $5, but still, it was a savings.
Yeah.
So, but we do that every couple of years. We go through and we basically throw it out
Well,
there, see what fish bites.
I had a client who, and I don't know the mechanics of it because I've never had an HSA, but she had so much money accumulated in her HSA that she was using it to buy buildings.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. I think you probably have to pay tax on it when you.
I think she did, but she had so much in there she didn't even care.
But it is definitely given to you.
Yeah.
As part of your, so that's another component of this. So if you did have to increase the employee side of it a little bit, you could easily argue that, well, we're also putting that more than that into your health savings account, which while it's tax-free going in, it's not tax-free coming out, but you do have some opportunity to access that at some point. So, but understanding all of that and being able to talk about that articulately correctly to the employee is going to be the key. But you should have a representative for that should be able to just lay that all out.
Sure. Yeah, we got to find that. We have to get options.
Talking to somebody already?
Huh?
Haven't you been talking to a couple?
Well, years ago when I left my first town, I actually convinced them to switch to a similar plan, and then I was going to do consulting work with the company, and they're a benefits manager. So essentially, you pay them a percentage. They come up with. They're the ones who have like the whole package idea, like we're talking about. But they're you pay a percentage of your savings to them, and they take in the claims and pay it out and stuff. So But we went around to a few towns, and but the amount of resistance from everybody is like, no, we can't touch that. It's like it's God or something.
Well,
but when you do the math, you could literally max out deductibles on everybody, and do the math where every single employee and every single person on the insurance has the worst year ever. Everybody maxes it out, which would never happen because it's basically a betting. You're gambling. The town would still save money compared to just writing a blank check to health trust.
Exactly.
And you go to, but we went to so many towns and schools. And they
school districts are really
just put up a big wall like no. And then I kind of moved on from them, whatever. And the guy who runs the company got so upset about it, he just gave up on trying to go after him. And I was like,
well, and on the private side, I don't know about the municipal side. There's probably less options, but on the private side, like when I was working for the credit union, they had what was called a donut hole program. So the insurance covered up to a certain amount, and then so it wasn't a high deductible, but it had the next gap was what they didn't cover.
Right.
So they would cover the beginning part, and the next gap is what they didn't cover, and that's where the health savings account
that's where the HSA
came in.
And
so
then
they call it a donut hole plan.
Because then it kicks in again on the other side where it's catastrophic.
Yes, and so you do have some of that. Like you want to be careful about that because some of those like co-insurance plans, you get into the catastrophic stuff, and you get an employee that gets cancer or something like that, or actually has a really really massive accident, and now they're paying 50% of their all the bills, and you don't want that. No. So, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I fully support moving forward with that.
So the way to proceed on this would be, I think this is another dump it on Jeremy's desk, but I think, we need to look at proposals on this.
we want to decide before the budget time.
Mary also did some research right before she left.
Yes.
And it was gonna be a little bit more at the time. It would, no, it would have been only like $100 savings.
Well, but
She was looking at the same plans that we're doing now, though. She wasn't looking at high deductibles, she wasn't looking
Right.
at donut holes, she wasn't looking at anything like that.
Well,
She
she
was
looked
looking
at-
I think we need to look, because I think you're gonna find the
There's really-
legislature is very conscious of this. You look at those bills that they're talking about in here. These guys, I don't think they're really, they're trying to create a sense of fear of loss rather than the expectation of gain.
Right.
I don't think they're actually gonna go out of business, but they're trying to tell you, we might.
We'll find out, wouldn't we?
Well, right, but I think I think you're gonna find the legislature, this is gonna not just pass, it's gonna sail through. And I think the governor's gonna sign it, cause I think everybody is looking at these costs all over the place.
Yeah, because we've gotten crazy.
Yeah,
It
because
has.
there's like 3 major players that have like the same options. That's what Mary found. It's school care, interlocal trust, and then New Hampshire Health Trust is like the big. But and I've done it before with previous towns. Is that you and other towns have said it to me like you might save a couple grand this year, but again you're putting your employees through all the change. Then say 3 years down the road you're right back in the same position you were before.
Well,
But those major players are all the same. It's the same plan. It's just maybe a different provider or something.
but we don't, well, we need to know what our options are. We don't have to just use those 3.
Right? Yeah.
We
We
can-
don't want to.
We
It's not gonna
could use
tell you-
MetLife or whoever writes group policies. I mean, it's a small, I don't think we're really, we're fortunate that we're small enough that we can be flexible.
Right. Make changes easier.
Right, and we have a group of employees that are young enough that this is the time, it's an opportunity for them to maximize this too.
So I would make a motion that Jeremy starts looking into all this information.
Second.
Yeah. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? No? Alright, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, no abstentions?
And there's nothing that stops you from implementing it during open enrollment this year if you can minimize the impact of the employee.
Right.
Right?
If they're happy with it.
Yeah, that's your hurdle. So if you can do that and save a whole bunch of money, start sooner than later.
I thought Dave wanted to do it. You wanted to do it, Mark, right?
Dave gets Medicare.
He wants to do the research for me instead of me doing it.
Alright, 4G, fire department old garage bay doors.
I move that we authorize the fire chief to sell the old garage bay doors.
I second it.
He's already got people lining up to buy them, so that's it.
They're not bad doors, they weren't.
Those other options, when they come to install it and see if, and I don't think we get anything from them anyway, so I said, yeah, we can sell them, do it.
Okay.
That's what the motion is.
Alright, motion second, any more discussion? No, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No nays, no abstentions. Motion passes. 4H, request 2 lights for tomorrow.
Yeah, so that was submitted by Dylan, it's the honor of the Revolutionary War.
The 18th of April in 75.
Dave remembers that, right?
Doesn't- Nary a man is still alive, remembers that fateful day and year of the midnight ride of Paul Revere.
You remember. He was there,
A lot of us do.
just like he was there.
So they're wanting us to put 2 lights on the
Poor Dave.
Up in the town hall. Yeah, we do it up on the second floor landing.
Yeah, I would say 1 on each side.
Yeah,
Bam.
yeah,
Just put some bright lights up there.
yeah.
Either get plug-in style or battery operated.
I moved, yeah, we don't want candles there.
No, they have battery operated candles. I
They
see
do,
a
but
lot
I
of
don't think that's what we wanna do.
We do bright LED lights.
Yeah.
I move that the town of Troy participate in the
2 lights for tomorrow.
2 lights for tomorrow.
I second it.
Alright, discussion.
We point them that way towards someone's house right there.
Well, I was thinking just because you go up and do the tower and wind the clock, do you mind putting them up?
Yeah, if we can find them, yeah. Just gotta figure out which ones we want, we can do it. Cause that's the 18th and 19th?
Yeah.
Don't we have like old actual lanterns?
Yeah,
or
Yeah, but
they actually
they're not,
converted to electric?
they're not wired up. You can't just plug them in, Curtis.
Oh,
I wish it would be that we just be boop, done.
Right, well, we could probably get something like that at Home Depot.
I mean, we have the structure, but I don't think we can put
Yeah, they're not wired up, no.
I mean, honestly, if we have the structure, we could actually find just a basic base to sit inside of it.
Put an inlay there, yeah.
Right, that's, you actually
I'll
make it look like
I'll look at
glamping or
structures,
something?
cause we've
Yeah,
got,
one of those,
Yeah, they look kinda like that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, if we could, I know we
Yeah.
have two of them,
we can see if we can.
Yeah, we
find
have
it
to.
online.
Yeah.
We definitely have two.
so if.
They get kicked around from one side of this building to the other every.
I know where they are showing.
Okay.
Alright, so,
Well, if TJ can make those work, other than that, we'll just go get a couple of
Basic light,
basic lights.
okay,
plug them.
Yeah.
so, alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No nays, no abstentions.
I'll have to find the light base.
Alright, that's moving along. Event permit, 2025-01, Troy 13. So Troy 13, name of person making the applications, Karen Donaldson. They wanna do
Fundraiser.
fundraiser on May 31st, 2025 on the Common from 9 AM to 4 PM.
Is that
No
Memorial
police
Day?
requirements.
No, Memorial Day's
The week before.
the week before.
Expected attendance is 300.
This is a Saturday.
That's what they put. It,
What is exactly?
up to.
What is exactly their plan?
The plan is to have like vendors like, like a kind of like a yard sale type
Uh-huh.
flea market thing. And they're thinking of a couple of food trucks or food vans.
What is Troy CERT?
That's the Community Emergency Response Team
And who's?
that Officer Bianchi started with some locals in town. Karen and her husband, the woman that
Filled it out.
filled it out. They live on Cranberry Hill Road.
Okay.
Then they bought what's his name's house, the first one
Oh,
up
on
on
the
the
backside.
left.
The
Yeah.
Warriors.
Yeah, and they came from New York, and they've been involved in all kinds of stuff in
Okay.
New York with diving and all that kind of stuff. You know, so
Okay.
this CERT team, they've gone to training through the state CERT team training stuff.
So my only concern would be, I would ask that they make sure that they have at least two porta potties.
Yeah.
300 people, that sounds like, doesn't sound like enough, but
You're not gonna open up the laundromat for?
no.
I heard they're gonna open up your house.
Right, right there, we can open them all.
It'd be a good day at the deli.
But yeah, one day you called to complain that you guys, I don't know if you're still remodeling the bathroom or something, that's what Richie told them, and she called us to complain, I'm like, okay. You realize it's a private, like, nobody has to open their restroom to you, whether you like it or not, sorry.
I mean, I believe that when we've had the other fall function and stuff out here, we've only had one.
Yeah, one porta.
One porta potty, okay, whatever.
It's work.
As long as there's one,
Yeah,
something.
Well, Depot Day, we had one at each.
Yeah.
That was.
Well, it was, that's because they're so far apart.
yeah,
So, can we put this in here under other?
yeah, sure. I'll
Uh,
tell
need the vendor or, organization needs to provide at least one porta potty.
We'll do something about trash. Sure.
It should, and remain, and is responsible for trash pickup after the event.
them. There's no problem there.
You sure?
So is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Seconded.
Any other discussion? I know there's a fee usually involved with,
I think it got scribbled out, I'm not sure.
so.
Yeah, who did that?
Initial,
Huh.
DE,
whoever that is.
DE.
Oh, I wonder-
So, no fee.
Donna,
Is Rob? is
I
he
move
also-
that we waive the
Yeah.
fee.
Alright.
he went to backup fits one
Second.
on the
Well,
warrant.
we got the first motion to approve it. You
Oh,
want that
right.
be part of the motion with the exception? of-
Why don't we just amend the motion and have it see, so they're gonna, the motion would be to approve approve the event permit subject to the organization providing a porta potty, guaranteeing the pickup of trash, and we will be waiving the fee.
I can agree with that.
Alright,
For the amendment?
any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So he's
Motion
he
passes.
tied up for a while.
So when you
Huh?
sign it, Curtis, under line 5, just write that in there.
Okay. Might have to have somebody remind me, I'm new at this job.
Okay, well, you got it sitting in your, there's a pile, it's right there.
Yeah.
That's one of your inheritances is chair.
Alright, old business,
No,
or
Jay.
4J, intent to
Just
cut,
came in today, yeah.
okay.
It's off on the side, it's
Yeah.
hard.
I move that we approve the intent to cut submitted on map 14, lot 12C, South Road, wherever that is. Yeah,
I second it.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Are we think they mean South
South
Street?
Street?
South Street.
Well, they definitely mean South Street, cause map 14 is over that way. but
Yeah, I know.
That, cause I'm 13, that part of South Street is map 14, so that would South Street.
Yeah. We should correct that.
It was
I
probably,
bet it's either South Street or South Main.
that
Well, if it's
map,
south,
it would be.
no, it's
Somebody
not-
from UPA today's like, what? They're right next to each other? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious. She was like, what, that makes no sense, like,
That's not the weirdest thing.
So- Alright, so what this is, I'm not looking at who the developer is. This is the lots on South Street that we just were talking about, the green farm, Julie Dow's
Oh.
property. Did you see the work John Holmes was doing today on Copperville Road?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not messing around, man, he's pulling out stumps, he's not coming back.
Cutting down some big trees.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, we have some last minute stuff coming in from the town clerk for a tax abatement. Develop board of assessors, selectmen upon application, parcel owner is Daniel and Justine Way. For map 13 lot 87, parcel description is 25 Memorial Drive. Refund abatement,
So that's what we already approved based on Monique's recommendation.
yeah.
Right.
Amend, abatement recommendation, Way
So
map.
you already approved it.
We already approved it.
So we just gotta sign it, okay.
You sign it, Curtis.
Well, we'll just have to sign it.
Oh, okay.
And then all those.
You like signing stuff. Wait till you actually go sign for $1 million note.
Million, we're doing $1 million now?
You wanna pass that down? I don't know if we have to.
You wouldn't believe how much paperwork we have just for the LED project.
And then Cheshire SS to Christina R. House, collector of taxes for Troy, New Hampshire, and said
Yeah, that'd
county.
be great, thank you.
And state direct to collect the property taxes committed to you amounting to the sum of $7,027 and with interest of 8% per annum on all sums not paid 30 days after the bills are mailed. We further order to remit all monies collected in town treasurer is designee provided by RSA 41:296 at least one weekly basis.
What are we doing?
This is tax collector's property tax supplement warrant. Map 17 lot 25 for $7,027. Map 33 lot 8A for $89. Map 33 lot 8B for $89.
Oh,
Map 33 lot 8C for $100 and map 33 lot 11 for $35.
so these are the 5 properties with no owners.
I think these are the warrant that we have to collect the taxes from, or
Something like
but they have, these are the.
unknown, yeah, they're unknowns.
So what, we're abating these taxes?
In my understanding, yes, because we don't have.
We don't have an owner to bill.
To who it's going and it's supposed to fix their books, is my understanding.
No, this is an abatement, this is a supplement warrant,
that's
We're sending
send
the
it
bill.
all out.
Yeah, but
We're
we
sending-
don't know who to send it to though, that's the
but it's to
problem.
begin the lien process.
Just to begin the lien process.
So we can start leaning the property.
Alright, so I move that we approve the 5 supplements,
Or the
the
6.
6 supplemental,
Five.
and what, 5 or 6?
It is 5.
Okay.
Sorry.
I move that we approve the 5 supplemental tax collector warrants as submitted by the tax collector town clerk.
I would second it, just to move it on to discussion, I think for these, we basically should say, what? $89, $100.
Well, we have to do this. so
Well,
we
we
can
wanna
figure
just
it
clear
out.
up, we just wanna clear up the books, it's not a lot of, these are, I agree with that.
This one's definitely.
It's just to clear up the books, so.
I'm good with that.
So you second?
Yeah.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, no abstentions, no
Much excited.
abstentions. Alright, so that's done now. Old business, the LED contract, town admin signing authorization.
So, last meeting, you guys voted for the resolution and Curtis signed it. Part of the paperwork is we need the attorney to send a nice letter to the lenders saying we're gonna pay, we're good, we're great people.
Okay,
But Joe wants a motion to approve me to sign the rest of the, lease,
I move
which I'm already working on. so-
that we approve, that we authorize Jeremy to sign the remaining paperwork on the LED blah, blah,
Lease
blah
agreement.
contract.
Lease agreement. Do we have a second?
That's it.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Alright, the next one, 5B, old business, welfare and admin assistant, PC laptop replacements.
So there's actually updated quotes in your packet, I want a little bit.
I can get a computer for $400 to same type of system, better RAM, and better hard drive.
Where did these quotes come from, Jeremy?
Worldwide.
Well, I need to update them.
Oh,
Yeah. We can get the computers cheaper. Not
Yeah.
going through them.
The docking station it's about par for the course for how much docking stations are. You could get something cheaper, but then it's not gonna last as long. These
yeah,
ones are specifically for these ones, but you can find ones that are comparable for plugging in, because all it is plugs into USB-C.
yeah.
So I don't
How
believe
much
these
total
ones
do you
are-
think we need? We just need a motion to authorize, you know, how we can do it, go and buy it.
What's the- I'm not understanding the question. We have a quote here from one vendor.
Yeah, we don't have to necessarily get them to them, but we just need to have a accurate figure to authorize us to go and buy them.
Alright, so the motion would be, I move that we authorize the town administrator to purchase a new laptop and docking station for the welfare agent to not to exceed a cost not to exceed $1,300.
I'll second it.
Alright, any more discussion?
No, I'll see if I can find something cheaper and
Yeah, I
I'll
would
throw something
spend
together
that
for
much
you and I'll send them over to you as well. That was the discussion phase.
Alright, all in favor?
Alright,
Aye. No abstention.
That should be for two, right, because we're doing one for each.
Yeah.
Abby's getting one and her
yeah,
one's going.
so
to
my motion, $1,300 each.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but just make that a friendly amendment to that motion, because that wasn't my understanding.
Alright, okay. Old business, records retention
Well,
committee.
before we go to that, why don't we get Coyote Bushcraft while it's here?
Oh, yeah, you walked in.
Hello, Coyote.
It walked out right when we got to your agenda item.
Oh,
We put you there.
Doing my job.
That's good.
Alright,
What
what
would,
would you like to do?
so I was requesting to utilize the property on Marlborough Road, the ball field. Behind that, the that big field right in back of the ball field. Use that to facilitate some of my classes for Coyote Bushcraft.
what are your classes? I don't know. what-
So we teach outdoor education courses. We major in wilderness survival, hiking, camping, hunting, land navigation, foraging. If you do it outside, we teach it.
Sure.
Yeah.
You need a place to go wander around in the woods.
Exactly.
I don't see a problem with that, do you?
No, I have no problem with it.
And so we would be, the only thing is we'd move a porta potty under the property for students. I mean, it would be out in the winter time, but that's really it.
How frequently would you be using it?
We usually run, it depends on the month. Some classes we run, or some months we run 4 classes, some months we run 2,
I
sometimes
just got those in
3.
your packet.
Nah.
But yeah, I do have a,
Oh, I saw that.
a list of classes for the year.
Well, I guess, I don't think they use the ball field anymore, but sometimes they do.
Bob just called me about that today, we're waiting, for clarification with a, I don't know if not the Little League, but
Cat Mountain League?
Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth League, if they're gonna use the,
Yeah, and I can coordinate with Bob with it too. There's
Yeah.
a very open line of communication between us.
other than that, just insurance, we should.
We must have insurance.
So we have insurance on our property now, so we'd have to talk to them to move it. We do have a liability waiver that we use, that everybody signs every class in person. But we'd have to talk to the
They would
insurance. about it.
probably, your insurance company would, if you could clarify that for us.
Yeah.
Generally, what they would do is they would extend the coverage to a different place that you were working.
Yeah.
I mean, it might cost you $50 or something.
Right, yeah, I'll talk to them about it.
So pending clarification on the insurance, I move that we approve the request.
I second it.
Alright, any other discussion? I see none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So, yeah, do you have a key to that gate to go into the backfield?
I don't, but you don't need one, because we have our range back there, but you don't need one. Yeah, there's a lock, but you don't need it. It's just lifted and pulled.
Okay,
They're not gonna do it going off
Strike that.
somewhere.
Give away our secrets, man.
Oh, man.
There'll be a lot
New
of.
Hampshire security systems.
yeah, if you work with Bob, he's talking about, getting the field redone and, getting the little hut up there, for use for concessions. So
Okay.
just talk with him, I don't know where we're at with anyone actually confirming it, that I know the talks are happening right now for the use of.
Yeah, we'd mostly be in the way back, because there's a trail that runs through there.
Yeah.
So we'd be out there on the trail and stuff, and
Okay,
maybe the back left corner of the field, we'd set something up, like benches and stuff. But
okay,
we're nowhere near the ball field.
okay.
On T-Bog.
There's a couple trails.
So like the outfielders don't
Yeah.
have to worry about arrows while they're playing?
I remember the first time I listed a house in New Hampshire and I asked the guy for a key to the front door and he said, well, I've got one, but I haven't used it in years. And we don't lock any of the doors anyway. Jesus. I said, "Why?"
people like that.
Yeah. I said, well,
So they
don't
need to-
tell anybody.
My doors are locked all the time.
How about the people that just leave like their garage doors or whatever open all day and just like, okay.
I've only done that a few times on accident.
5C, Records Retention Committee. Where are we with that?
So we discussed once this whole election process went down, we were gonna do this starting now, so I'll reach out to Chrissy and then I will reach out to a couple of volunteers who said they wanna volunteer. And I will also reach out to Dave. We could reach out to Mike too. The more people we have on it, the
Yeah, 'cause I
better.
don't have anything going on.
So, I don't have the RSA off the top of my head, but, about the records retention. So water and sewer records are technically supposed to be in this building.
Once you have a committee in place, yes, there is no real direction until then. And if, we could cite the legal matter on that, and I think there's other departments that don't have records on site as well. But, what I don't wanna see is if those are them, is them to be out and not secured. So, that's kind of my biggest worry about that. And then, this isn't a hill I wanna die on, like,
Well-
please don't assume that, but, to have them all in one place just makes sense. And whether that's up here or down there, it really is no matter to me, but I just wanna know what's here,
Yeah, yeah.
so that if there's something that we've been looking for, or need a reference, or anything like that, like, that's the biggest concern for me. We can talk about the rest later on, but, and while we're kind of in legal, it would be prudent for us to have them all in one place, and definitely not out here.
We all should know what we have anyway.
I don't think that's them. This is
Okay.
Janet's stuff.
It's audit stuff. The auditors.
One says water and sewer right off.
That would be Janet's records.
Those are
Just-
Janet's.
She had her own
That's the
record
reason
for
why I
that
said
too.
Janet had her own personal records retention program.
Yeah, it's all in our.
That's all,
Yeah.
I just, that's the biggest thing, and
No.
again, we should, like Jeremy said, I just wanna know what's there, cause there might be
Well,
a missing.
this all came up because Amanda mentioned that she found some or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we discussed it back in, I think, December of
November.
last year, and we kind of all just agreed that she would collect it and we would take it so that it would save her time and effort, and we would have all our
So-
documents in one place.
Why don't we handle it this way? The next time Amanda's here, which I don't know, she's not here now, is she?
No,
she's
because
covering
Heather's-
Swansea a lot this week, so.
Huh?
Heather's sick. The town.
Oh, over at Swansea.
Swansea's town clerk.
So, when,
She could point me to where there's
Do you
stuff.
want-
well, next time she's here, go,
Do you
I
want
believe she has it in
this?
its own separate tote.
I don't know.
whatever she's got that's water and sewer, have them come and look at it.
Well, I think with the records retention too, the idea is start getting records put into the new file room.
No, I agree with all. I think we all agree on that. I
Yeah, there's
think.
some
Do you
things
wanna
that
be on
might,
the record retention?
I literally,
No.
if I spend any more
Thanks for
time,
volunteering.
yeah, I'll need a place to live, but,
Well, I heard
If you
senior
spend a little
housing's
more time, you won't need a
senior
place.
housing's for sale. We could buy that. That's a town. Quick pull
I
out.
mean, I got 12 hours into water and sewer since the last meeting, so, no, and I think it's a great idea, and I think once we digitize, this all goes away anyway, but that'll be a while, I'm sure.
That'd be a while.
Well, some
some
documents
will,
still
some
have to be.
We have to find them to digitize them.
Sure, and then pay for it.
And then pay for the
You wanna know?
But yeah, I think let's start with just, I just need to know, so whether that's me looking through them or someone inventory them, it'll be hard for me to find the time, I'll have to break that up into.
Well,
digest
we'll
it.
see what it is. I mean, if it's a stack of papers that high, maybe it's not that big a deal. If it's six totes like that, maybe.
Right, I agree.
So, is somebody on the water and sewer willing to step up and be on the record retention? Because we'd really like to get at least a member from each board to be part of this.
We have a meeting Wednesday,
It has records.
I'll definitely ask.
So, if you.
Bill Camino.
That's my,
Just let me know when you're doing that meeting or when you got all the key players in place and whatnot.
Jeremy, this isn't the time to dig
I
through.
think it's
this.
all audit stuff anyway.
Yeah, leave that crap alone.
We moved all of Janet's real stuff.
We keep it smaller, but not, you want to do at least.
He's gotta be moved upstairs.
One of us per, anyone else is up to us.
Right, well, I think of water and sewer is a good.
Yeah, they'd be a good one.
we
Having
have a lot of
him
records.
would be
right?
good.
Yeah.
Well, and she found police records from the 70s.
Maybe something.
Surprise.
Well, that's the other thing, right,
Yeah.
is the sewer side of it is
Maybe a
only,
couple people.
I mean, I say only,
Yeah.
but it's only like 50 years old, so there's a possibility
Well,
that.
what did they do for the first 50 years?
Well, they didn't have a sewer system until, well, I don't know.
No, 1950.
No, that was the water.
Oh, well, they had sewers.
Yeah, we didn't have a place to process it until, I think the 70s or 80s, so.
That's when they built that, 82 or 81.
Right, so my guess is this stuff might predate that, and, just,
There's probably some records from prior to that when they were, the feds came and said, you must now build a sewage treatment plant.
yeah, so I'm guessing that some of that stuff was maybe before the plant was there, and then we kept everything since then down there.
And somebody had to maintain the sewer lines,
Yeah,
because they were town sewer lines.
that's all. And so I really like the idea of an inventory of it, but it's whether that's me or somebody, but I will put it on the agenda to see if anybody wants to serve on
I'll be there to remind you. Okay.
it. I got a new note taking so that I don't want to miss anything.
I
but that
think the
would be
committee will have more work at the beginning, and then once it's going, it will be very.
Well, I think you get a system set up and it should be self-correcting.
Every so often you.
Probably bring that on it.
And this is a function that a lot of towns are like, what? We're supposed to be doing that? We really need to do it.
My research has proved the same, right, that you should be doing it, but nobody's doing it.
It's one
Well,
thing, the state doesn't follow up on it.
the go-to guy for the state is the guy in Keene.
Yeah.
Apparently, Keene has the best records system in the state.
Believe
Because
it or not.
other places bring their stuff
Yeah.
to them.
The records manager, deputy chief clerk.
Yeah.
Right, any further discussion, record retention?
Jeremy, you just forgot like a whole section in mine.
Did?
I have no six.
Oh, well, it's only one paper, so.
I
Well,
move that we approve the payroll
A lot.
dated 4/7 in the amount of $23,292.74. Accounts payable dated 3/31, the amount of $202.50. And dated today 4/3/25, in the amount of $19,846.83.
have a second?
I'll second it.
Alright, any further discussion? See none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Moving on, previous meeting minutes. 3/6/2025 and 3/28/2025, public and non-public.
I move that we approve the minutes as submitted for both the public and the non-public. For both of those dates.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Board correspondence, 7A, Keene delegation meeting.
So that's the meeting I emailed you guys about every year. He invites all the local community leaders, and then HMA comes in and does a presentation on what interesting bills are going through the House and changes that we need to be aware of.
You were at it like 2 years ago, right? I ran into you.
I went last year just because I was new to the area. And informative for me. Dick said maybe, but for you, I think you're gonna know everything they're gonna tell you because you're in the House.
Well, there's 1,500 bills, I assure you I don't know all of them.
But yeah, it'll be the typical NHMA spiel where, oh, we don't support this because of, but.
Well, there's a real turf war going on with NHMA right now.
Don't feel like you have to go, but they do want anybody that's gonna go for RSVP, so
Yeah, I did it, I think, 3 years ago.
I'll probably go, maybe we'll see.
They were like,
Heberton Hall is the old Masonic.
Very, very light refresh.
they had cookies and like water last time, it was hilarious.
Fruit punch is
6:30.
not flavored.
So we RSVP to them, right?
Yeah, but it's 16. But you don't have to go, I don't feel like you have to.
Yeah.
It'll be a great old time.
Are you going, Jeremy?
Probably. I haven't responded yet, but.
Alright, 7B, Department of Safety, vessels and fire code hearings.
So that's a similar letter to the last one about the hearings for the fireworks.
Oh, that's right, cause they wanted to change the rules on all fireworks.
Yeah, so this one's for.
Boom.
I didn't include the town of Harrisville's planning board notices they sent us. I don't know why I didn't, but. And then 7C is just a similar article about proposed bills regarding PDIP, which is the investment pool that we do for some of our trust funds.
Yeah, I read through that and there's talk that the PDAP doesn't get invested back in New Hampshire, and they wanna
Yeah.
change that.
They want to limit the external investments, which you would think would severely limit the options they have, but not that New Hampshire's economy is not okay, but compared to some others.
It's an interesting one, so at least
I don't know that I agree with that.
that's interesting.
Oh, no, it's interesting. I don't agree with the logic behind it.
They want you to invest the money into New Hampshire companies,
Yep.
basically. Yeah. Seems like they just want you to maximize profits and not worry about where you invest.
Right, I would say that, but they want,
Right,
you know.
yeah. I see what they,
Somewhere in the middle, maybe? Would be the option?
yeah, portion, right, yeah.
Alright, admin report, number 8.
Yeah, so we already talked about the properties and stuff, so I'll have that for next meeting. Yeah, it took some items off because we were so busy or whatever, but I did have a conversation with the guy at Town Hall Streams. They're out of York, Maine, so we're doing a little bit of work on our end, because I sent him pictures of the meeting rooms, and he's kind of worried about the wiring. And the other option is to do battery operated microphones.
What's his concern about the wiring?
Yeah, cause
Well, essentially he's 2 hours away, and we both want to make it so he's
One shot.
yeah, and he knows what he needs. He's gonna come in one day and hang it all up and be done. So I'm working with Bob and the electrician, and we're gonna set up a call and they'll walk through and he'll figure out exactly what he needs for each building.
I'm pretty sure the electrical in this room is all new.
That's knob and tube, Curtis.
Well, but I'm talking about.
Oh, all this down here we had redone.
Yeah.
We had all these walls out.
So you think they could wire it pretty easily
I think so, cause
For, like,
they did this.
to install electricals in the walls?
Yeah, on that wall and that wall.
But worst case, we do battery operated ones, and he said it's gonna be similar to our rec microphones that we had, where they're gonna last 6 hours max, but you just buy a couple sets and you just switch them out.
Well,
Most towns are like, no, we don't wanna do that, but
Cause
well, I
otherwise
don't know, I
you said
want,
your audio will be a lot better that way, but
they'll drop mics from the ceiling, basically, is what they'll do, So you don't put probably in
But,
this
so I'm
room.
working on getting it set up, so he only has to make one trip out.
Well, you got the hooks for the kerosene lights on the ceiling, so that would probably help.
Yeah, I would make it as foolproof as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I
Cause
get
if it's
it.
like extensive electric.
If it's this room particularly he's worrying about, we know what's here. If it's at the rec center, we know what's there. The library, that's a new building.
Yeah, so. But anyways, we're working on that, so
Library's
we,
got drop ceiling, so it's gonna be easiest.
Yeah,
if we're good to go, by the end of the month, he's gonna come out here and get it done, so,
well, that's good.
pretty quick.
If not, he gets to stay at East Hill Farm.
That's an option.
Or
But
the
it's
mayor.
2 hours each way, so I didn't, I feel his pain, I didn't want him to drive,
2 hours, that's it?
He's over.
Well, I mean, so are you asking us to?
No, I'm just letting you know.
um,
So I'm just informed about it. I talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
Bob's been talking about the rec. I said, community center's the newest of it. I said, that won't be an issue.
So the only place he's gonna have trouble with wiring in this walls, those two walls, cause they're filled with foam.
Spray foam.
Which wall?
That one and that one,
Oh.
cause they're exterior walls.
Okay.
So, alright, caveat, did you relinquish control of the cameras, like, from the last 2 meetings, from 2 meetings ago, to Jeremy?
I'm on there. I have it on there.
He's on there, Dave hasn't accepted it.
Yeah, Dave, I meant to mention you.
Well,
You're going rain.
I know that they were trying to send an email out and everything for you to relinquish control, cause I know you still have access, cause you went in and changed batteries. You need to
Yeah.
relinquish the control to Jeremy, all
I will, it's like I
of
said,
them.
and
you
whoever
need-
took the battery out of the one in the lobby without notifying anybody needs to be in trouble for it. Cause the battery was removed from the lobby one. And that wasn't changed, it was completely removed.
Well, I'm more worried about the motion that was made to relinquish access
And we
from
all
us.
agreed that as
And
soon as
Dave-
everyone accepted, it would go.
And Dave, what's up with you accepting the camera's access?
I haven't gotten anything
Did you get an email?
to do that, no?
I'll check your email
Resend it.
When did you send it?
A while.
a while ago.
Can you resend it?
So you gotta go on there, download the app, and then like create an account, and you're good. I can help you, it's not hard, but.
Okay. No, I didn't know.
I meant to
anything,
mention
but-
it earlier, but I forgot.
Yeah, we'll get it to you then.
Could have been, I thought it was my Weiss camera.
Who's?
This will come from Rain.
Oh, it come from, oh, that's right, you guys got rain.
Mm-hmm.
Whose camera?
These are Ring cameras?
Yeah.
So if we can get it done before the next selectmen's meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Or as soon as possible.
They changed the policy, or they gonna?
I didn't, but when you give me a copy of it, I'll know.
Well, yeah, we haven't actually changed it. We just
You
took a
have it?
motion.
Oh, okay. When you
Well, the
do,
language
So
has
we,
been,
we voted on it already.
okay,
I need to actually go in and
So
change
change
it.
the
Jeremy hasn't updated the language.
okay.
We did our part.
I dropped the ball.
Alright, so we're gonna have to go into non-public,
Do we have anything for non-public?
Two, yeah, two things.
so
One is legal and one is.
A32L and A32,
Compensation, so.
We have a
You
compensation.
just hired, right?
Oh, okay.
No,
That's
it's
good.
the same.
hiring, hiring. A32E,
No, it's A.
It's a, it's just
right, motion to go into 91A32A and 91A32,
Well, we'll do one at a
They have to
time,
go
Chris.
separate, that's all.
Yeah,
well, I was just letting people know because we shut the cameras off.
whatever, what was the first one?
A for compensation.
Compensation, do that one first.
Alright, roll call vote, Dick,
Yes?
TJ,
You haven't had a second yet. Second.
Who made the motion?
Dick made the motion. Alright,
Yes?
Yes.
TJ, Curtis, yes. And then we're gonna go after right into L, 91A32L for legal, just so everyone knows. Our next meeting will be April 17th, 2025 at 6 PM here at
Just-
the town hall.
And just for the record, we will come out of non-public and go back into non-public. There'll be a
Correct.
Well, next meeting, do we still want to do TRG
30-second
before?
intermission between the two.
Do we still need TRG before next meeting?
We'll need, no, next week is, the next meeting, before the next meeting.
Yeah, so TRG at 6 and then selectmen at 6:15?
That's fine.
Yeah, so that's fine with that, right?
Alright. So we can go ahead